Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Tomba Special Edition, Metroidvania JRPG by Whoopee Camp, finally brought to PC and modern consoles by Limited Run Games. I've long wanted a copy of this PlayStation Classic, but prices for getting an actual disc are simply too expensive for me. Over 25 years later, now that it's much more accessible, how well does it hold up? Let's dive in and find out. In Tomba, or Tomba if you're from Europe, you'll take on the role of the eponymous Tomba. While attempting to protect a traveler from evil pigs known as Coma, Tomba is knocked unconscious and the Coma steal his grandfather's bracelet while he's out. In short, it's sort of a story of revenge as he seeks to retrieve the stolen bracelet, but along the way he also tries to help anyone else that might have run afoul of the evil pigs. At the onset of the game, Tomba has his trusty Blackjack, a morning star that doesn't actually damage enemies, but can stun them. To defeat most enemies, you'll need to jump on top of them, then throw them. If they hit into a wall, you'll defeat them, and throwing them into another enemy will defeat them both. Tomba can climb up many vertical surfaces, as well as swing on branches and the like, allowing you to reach a number of different locales right off the bat. Very early in the game, you'll meet the 100-year-old man, the first of 4 immortal sages that will tell Tomba about the Coma that stole his grandfather's bracelet and instructs him to visit the dwarves to learn more about the wicked pigs and how to defeat them. But perhaps more important to your immediate progress, he also grants you the 100-year-old key, which allows you to open wooden chests scattered throughout the game. You'll see 4 different kinds of chests very early on in the game, but it'll be quite some time before you have the keys to open all of them. Inside, you'll find everything from new weapons, to health upgrades, to enhanced pants that let you run faster, or even a grappling hook to swing from ceilings. Combat-wise, you'll find a few new options as the game goes along. You'll be able to find boomerangs which get progressively stronger as the game continues, which are my preferred tool for basic combat. You also have a trio of magic gems you can unlock which are honestly pretty disappointing. I didn't even use them enough to get proper footage of them, but 2 of them basically create short-lived shields that allow you to attack enemies by ramming into them, while one of them sort of gives you a double jump, which sounds like it should be great in a Metroidvania, but there's nothing in the game that really requires it. By the time you do get it, you have better mobility options anyways. However, unlike your typical Metroidvania, Tomba is not alone in his world. As the game goes on, you'll meet a colorful cast of characters. Maybe not quite as colorful as Tomba himself, and in traditional RPG fashion have a number of side quests. This was one of the earlier titles to include an in-game list of quests, making it easy to keep track of which quests you've finished and which have yet to be fulfilled. This can include rescuing lost dwarves, getting medicine for an injured puppy, playing hide and seek, learning how to swim, getting the best time on a motocross course, and much more. There's 130 quests, or events as they're called in-game, in total. You certainly don't have to complete all of them to finish the game, but there's quite a bit in there if you want to 100% things. And it's not all just about finding hidden areas and defeating enemies. You'll also need to talk to a lot of characters around the game world, sometimes giving them specific items to progress the quest. You'll meet a wide variety of personalities, and all of them have been afflicted by the Coma and their curses in some way or another. Which brings us back to the Coma themselves. You soon learn that the Coma are commanded by 7 evil pigs that rule over the rest of them, each of which is cursed a different area. For each of these 7 pigs, you have to find a magic bag that can seal them away. Once you find the bag for a pig, you then have to find their hidden door to challenge them to a boss fight. Boss fights all work pretty much the same way. The evil pig will attack you with some sort of magic related to their curse, all while the bag will be flying around them. You have to grab the pig, then toss him into the bag to win the fight. Although all boss fights use the same concept, the different stage designs and attack patterns do a pretty good job of keeping the battles from feeling stale. After defeating an evil pig, their curse will be lifted. This will not only change the appearance of the area that had been cursed, but many times is also necessary to progress. For example, fairly early on, you'll find a mountain with constant storms that cause fierce winds. Defeating the pig that cursed the mountain will cause the winds to calm down, allowing you to more easily and more fully explore the area than you could before. So defeating the pigs not only advances the plot, but also has a practical impact on the game world. Presentation-wise, the game is a bit mixed, but definitely has more good than bad. It has a bright, vibrant world that was clearly crafted with care. A mix of 2D and 3D elements helps it to hold up a lot better than most other PS1 games, though it's certainly not on the level of Symphony of the Night or Mega Man 8. Though I must say, the way it blends 2D and 3D environments together does a really good job making it feel like the game world is truly structured in a coherent way, however goofy the design may ultimately be. If you're hoping for visual enhancements to the Special Edition, you're going to be disappointed. Aside from being upscaled, what you get is the same as the original PS1 version, though for the most part, it does hold up pretty well. The story is pretty simplistic. The humor isn't as funny as I remember. This certainly isn't Super Mario RPG or video game fables. There's clearly a great deal of care and effort put into making it all the same. For the Special Edition specifically, they've included an improved version of the soundtrack, including a music player that will allow you to freely listen to both the original and enhanced versions of all the songs in-game. You'll also have access to quite a bit of concept art and promotional materials from all 3 regions that the game was originally released in. Casual fans will probably ignore most of this, but for those of us that enjoy seeing the work that goes into making games, this is a treasure trove of bonuses. All in all, Tomba is a fun, goofy, quirky adventure that feels pretty unique. Even with Metroidvania seeing a resurgence over the last decade or so, there's not a lot of them out there like this. While many go for dark, dreary settings, Tomba isn't afraid to showcase a bright, colorful, whimsical world that feels almost reminiscent of something like Wonderland or Oz. As aforementioned, its clever use of 2D gameplay in a 3D world makes for a unique take on the concept of 2.5D games, and there's plenty of variety in there. My only major complaint I have about the game is that a handful of the quests do feel a little obtuse. I don't want to give too many of them away, but perhaps the most egregious is when you're trying to fill up a bucket. There's a well and a number of water troughs in the Dwarven village. Nope, can't use those. There's a massive lake near Bacchus village. Nope, that doesn't work. Nor does the river in the jungle. No, instead you're expected to strap the bucket to your back and then catch giant water drops instead. Now it should be noted that this is the worst example here, and I was able to beat the game without resorting to a guide, both replaying this time and when I borrowed it back during my childhood. But if you're planning to 100% the game, there's going to be a handful of odd choices in there. Nevertheless, the good heavily outweighs the bad, and I find Tomba Special Edition to be worth a respectable 8.3 out of 10. Tomba Special Edition is currently available for PC via Steam, as well as the Nintendo Switch and Sony PlayStation 5. If you're interested in purchasing or learning more, links are included in the description. But what about you? What do you think of Tomba? What PlayStation 1 classics do you think should be ported over to PC? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.